You remember being 19, right? You'd walk into a dorm room full of strangers and somehow leave with 3 new friends. You'd strike up a conversation with the person next to you in line like it was nothing. You'd go to a party where you knew absolutely no one, and by midnight you'd be laughing so hard your stomach hurt. Now, you walk into that same coffee shop. You see someone you kind of know, and instead of saying hello, you bury your face in your phone. You go to a work event and spend the entire night hovering near the snack table, rehearsing conversation starters in your head that you never actually use. You tell yourself you'll text that old friend back tomorrow. Tomorrow becomes next month. Next month becomes never. And the worst part? You used to be good at this. You used to be social. So what the hell happened to you? If you're watching this and your chest just tightened a little, good. Because I'm about to show you exactly why your brain betrayed you. And more importantly, I'm going to give you the science-backed roadmap to get your social skills back. Welcome to the Unseen Mind, and today we're diving deep into something nobody warned you about: the invisible social decline that starts right around age 25. Here's the thing nobody tells you. What you're experiencing isn't just getting older. It's not just being introverted now. It's not laziness. It's not a personality flaw. It's a biological and sociological perfect storm that hits almost every single adult. And nobody talks about it because it's so gradual, you don't even realize it's happening until you're already isolated. Psychologists call it social atrophy. And it's real. It's measurable. And if you don't understand what's causing it, you'll spend the next decade wondering why connection feels so impossibly hard. Let me break this down into 3 invisible forces that are actively working against you right now. Force number 1, the prefrontal cortex trap. Let's get a little nerdy for a second, because this is where it gets fascinating. Right around age 25, your prefrontal cortex fully develops. This is the part of your brain responsible for risk assessment, planning, and logical thinking. And while that sounds like a good thing, it's actually sabotaging your social life. Think about it. When you were 18, 19, 20, you were impulsive. You'd walk up to someone and start talking without a second thought. Your brain wasn't calculating risk. It wasn't running a cost-benefit analysis on every single interaction. But after 25, your fully developed brain shifts into self-preservation mode. Suddenly, every social interaction comes with a flood of internal questions. What if I say the wrong thing? Are they judging me right now? What if they think I'm weird? What if this gets awkward and I can't escape? Your brain is literally treating casual conversation like a threat to your survival. It's flooding your system with cortisol, the stress hormone, every time you even think about approaching someone. This isn't anxiety disorder. This is neurobiology. Your brain evolved to protect you, and now it's overprotecting you from the one thing you need most: human connection. And here's the cruel irony. The smarter you are, the worse this gets, because your prefrontal cortex is too good at imagining every possible way a conversation could go wrong. Force number 2, the end of forced proximity. Remember high school? Remember college? You didn't have to try to make friends. You were forced into proximity with thousands of people your exact age, going through the exact same life stage, whether you liked it or not. Dorms, classes, cafeterias, parties, study groups. Sociologists call this forced proximity, and it's the single greatest friendship-generating system ever invented. But after 25, it vanishes. You graduate. You get a job, maybe remote, maybe hybrid. You move to a new city for work. Your friends scatter across the country. Suddenly, you're not surrounded by peers anymore. You're surrounded by nobody. And in this new reality, friendship is no longer the default. It's a deliberate action. If you don't actively, intentionally seek out social interaction, your circle doesn't just stay small, it actively shrinks. Research from the University of Oxford shows that adults need to invest approximately 200 hours to turn a casual acquaintance into a close friend. 200 hours. When you're working 40 to 50 hours a week, commuting, trying to maintain some semblance of health and sleep, where are those 200 hours supposed to come from? The system that created your social life no longer exists, and nobody gave you the new rule book. Force number 3, the decay of weak ties. Now let's talk about something most people completely overlook. In 1973, sociologist Mark Granovetter published one of the most important papers in social science history. He introduced the concept of the strength of weak ties. Here's what that means. Your strong ties are your best friends, your family, your inner circle. But your weak ties? They're the barista who remembers your order, the guy you nod to at the gym, the coworker from a different department you chat with in the elevator, the person you see at the dog park every Saturday. These weak ties don't seem important, but they are the foundation of your social confidence. Every time you have one of these low-stakes micro-interactions, you're exercising your social muscle. You're practicing reading body language, making eye contact, finding conversational rhythm. You're reminding your brain that social interaction is safe. But after 25, what happens to these weak ties? You order coffee through an app. You work from home. You go to the gym with headphones in. You grocery shop via delivery. Every friction point that used to force a tiny human connection. Eliminated. And when you stop using your social muscle for these low-stakes interactions, you don't just stay the same. You atrophy. Think about it like this. If you stopped walking for 6 months, your leg muscles would weaken. You wouldn't just be out of practice. Your body would physically change. The same thing happens to your social brain. By the time you actually need to be social, like at a wedding or a networking event or a first date, your social muscle is so weak that even basic conversation feels exhausting and terrifying. This is social atrophy. And if you're sitting there thinking, oh my God, this person is describing my exact life. That's because I am. Because this is happening to millions of people right now in silence, and they all think it's just them. It's not just you. Now I need to be honest with you about something, because if I just give you the science and stop there, I'm not doing my job. This gets worse if you ignore it. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to wake you up, because I've seen what happens 5 years down this road. 10 years. You tell yourself you're just focusing on your career. You tell yourself you'll get back out there when things calm down. You tell yourself you're just an introvert now. But loneliness isn't just an emotional state. It's a physical health crisis. The U.S. Surgeon General released an advisory calling loneliness an epidemic. Chronic social isolation increases your risk of heart disease by 29%, stroke by 32%, dementia by 50%. It has the same mortality impact as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. 15 cigarettes a day. And the psychological toll? When you lose your social skills, you don't just lose friends. You lose opportunity. You miss the job connection that comes from a casual conversation. You miss the romantic relationship that starts with a random introduction. You miss the creative collaboration, the support system, the person who checks on you when you're going through hell. You become invisible. And the longer you stay invisible, the harder it becomes to be seen. But here's what I need you to understand. This is reversible. Your brain is neuroplastic. Your social skills are not gone, they're just dormant. And there are specific science-backed techniques to wake them back up. I'm going to give you 3 of them right now. Solution number 1, the mere exposure effect hack. This first one is so simple it almost feels like cheating, but it's rooted in solid psychological science. It's called the mere exposure effect. Discovered by psychologist Robert Zajonc in 1968, it states that people develop a preference for things simply because they're familiar with them. Translation: your brain trusts what it recognizes. Here's your action step. Pick one location, one time, 3 days a week. Same coffee shop, same gym, same park bench, same laundromat, same time every single time. Don't force conversations at first. Don't have an agenda. Just become a familiar face. Show up Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8:15 a.m. with your black coffee. After 2 weeks, the barista will recognize you. After 3 weeks, the regulars will start nodding. After a month, saying hey won't feel like a performance. It'll feel like greeting someone you already know. Because neurologically, you do already know them. Their brain has categorized you as safe and familiar. You've bypassed the threat detection system that paralyzes most adult social interaction. Start here. This is your foundation. Solution number 2, Gamify rejection therapy. Now let's tackle the real monster, fear of rejection. Here's the neuroscience behind it. When you fear social rejection, your brain processes it the same way it processes physical pain. Literally, the same neural pathways light up. That's why rejection feels like a punch to the gut. But here's the wild part. You can rewire this. It's called rejection therapy, and it works through a mechanism called fear extinction. Every time you experience the thing you're afraid of, and the world doesn't end, your brain updates its threat assessment. So here's your challenge. Get intentionally rejected once a day. Ask for a 10% discount on your coffee. Ask a stranger what time it is, even though you have a watch. Ask someone at the gym if you can work in between their sets. Ask the bookstore employee for a recommendation in a genre you don't even read. Most of the time, people will say yes. Sometimes they'll say no. Either way, you win. Because you're proving to your brain that rejection isn't fatal. It's not even that uncomfortable. It's just information. Do this for 30 days and something remarkable happens. The paralyzing fear that stops you from starting conversations, it loses its power because you've built a new neural pathway. Social risk, no catastrophe, I'm still here. This is neuroplasticity in action. You are literally rewiring your brain. Solution number 3, the F.O.R.D technique. Okay, you've become a familiar face. You've desensitized yourself to rejection. Now you need to actually talk to people without that soul-crushing awkward silence. Enter the F.O.R.D method. This is a conversational framework used by sales professionals, therapists, and honestly, anyone who wants to never run out of things to say. Each letter stands for a conversation topic that almost every human being can engage with. F is for family. Do you have any family around here? Are you from this area originally? O is for occupation. What do you do for work? Do you enjoy it? What does a typical day look like for you? R is for recreation. What do you normally get up to on weekends? Have you been to local event/restaurant? D is for dreams. Do you have any travel planned this year? If you could try any new hobby, what would it be? Here's why this works. Most people are starving to be asked about themselves. In a world where everyone is waiting for their turn to talk, someone who genuinely asks questions stands out like a lighthouse. You don't need to be witty. You don't need to be charismatic. You just need to be curious. Pick one letter. Start there. Let the conversation breathe. And watch what happens when you stop performing and start connecting. Look, I know what it's like to feel like you've lost a part of yourself. To remember a version of you that was effortless and social and alive, and wonder where that person went. But I need you to hear me on this. That person isn't gone. They're just buried under years of biological changes, lifestyle shifts, and a world that made isolation the default. You have the science now. You have the roadmap. And I promise you, the first conversation is the hardest. Every single one after that gets easier. You don't need to transform overnight. You don't need to become a social butterfly. You just need to take one small, intentional step toward connection today. Because at the end of the day, all the research, all the neuroscience, all the sociology, it all points to one undeniable truth. We are not meant to do this alone. If this video made you feel seen, if it gave you hope that you can get your social skills back, I need you to do 3 things. First, hit that like button. It tells the algorithm that this message needs to reach the person who's sitting alone right now, thinking it's just them. Second, subscribe to The Unseen Mind, because every week we're diving deep into the psychology of why you feel the way you feel, and giving you the tools to change it. And third, check the description. I've linked the research papers behind everything we discussed today, plus a downloadable F.O.R.D conversation cheat sheet you can save on your phone for your next social situation. You are not broken. You are not weird. You are a human being whose brain and environment changed, and now you have the power to change them back. One coffee shop, one hey, one question at a time. You've got this. I'll see you in the next one.